Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Listen at Lunch. I come to you live at noon on Tuesdays and Fridays with information, demonstrations, showing off great products, and a multitude of things that I do in my small business. So I appreciate you joining me, whether you are live or whether you are watching the replay. I have two Facebook Inkin Lattes. One is Inkin Latte with Keri Blake. It is a public page that I share everything that I show you in this private group. So if you want to watch live, of course, you want to be in my private group, which is just Inkin Latte. And that you can see right away when I go live, instead of waiting for me to post it on my other page, which is a public page on Facebook called Inkin Latte with Keri Blake. I hope that makes sense. So I am going to make sure that we are on the go here. Oh, yep, I see. Great. I have a cute little coffee cup today. I don't know if I've showed this one yet because we are episode 30. I never would have thought that I was going to be doing these lives on a consistent basis. If it wasn't for COVID, I would probably still be doing my in-person classes, and I wouldn't be doing lives with you here today. So I love that I can reach out to you long distance or in the comfort of your own home, even if you're local. I appreciate you joining me. So 30 episodes, wow. So I'm not sure if I've showed you this cup, and I can't really show you, but my son gave it to me. It has some really cool little owl on it. It's hand painted. It's a little cup. But I'm going to be inking a latte today, so I thought I would share that with you. Okay. Taking a sip of my coffee. Set it aside. I see someone's on here. Please be sure to shout out and say hello. And also, I'd love it if you would share my videos with your friends that are crafters or wannabe crafters, or would enjoy getting together with you and crafting. Anybody that you know that would appreciate my lives, I would love to welcome them into our group. So please share and show your projects. I love that you're all with me. All right, so today is about two-step stamping, and I had a request on how to stamp with lining up things that are two-step stamps. So I chose today's tiles to come to you today, and I want to talk about this for a minute. Where are my dies? Here's my dies. So today's tiles is found on page 38 of our brand new annual catalog. You can purchase it as a single stamp set, it is a photopolymer stamp set. So you see right through it. It comes with a little plastic sheath there, and your stamps are printed on this vinyl piece, clear vinyl piece, so that you can line them back up and you know what's missing. It also gives you a clearer version of the words outlined too. So you'll find that in the case. You'll also notice, maybe you did, maybe you didn't, that with some of Stampin' Up! Stamp sets, the stamps are actually bigger than what is on the label on the case. And you'll know if these are bigger by looking down here next to the item number to the left. It says images at 80%, and this is two-step. Two-step means you have two stamps that coordinate with each other. So you want to stamp one first and then stamp the other one over it as a second step to create some really pretty cards. And I'll show you, I'll kind of give you a sneak peek of one we're going to do. This one's really pretty. This is actually Coastal Cabana in Bermuda Bay. And here's a little tag that comes in the die set. So we're going to be making one of those today, as well as another card. This is the die set that coordinates with today's tiles. And it is called Field Tile Dies. Now you can purchase this separately, or you can purchase it with the stamp set at a 10% discount when you purchase these together. It's called a bundle price. These have some really pretty labels, and they're unique. Some, you know, one's kind of plain. You have a couple that are ornate. You have one that coordinates with this one, so it's like a two-step die. And then you have this, how would I want to say? Kind of like a marquee almost with the little dots. As a little banner. And these all coordinate with the sayings that are in this stamp set too. So I'll be showing you how to use those. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how we're going to stamp freehand. So we're not going to use the Stamparatus for the first card that we're going to do. I'm going to show you how you're going to line it up just on your own without the Stamparatus, and then I'm going to show you the Stamparatus as well. So what we definitely need is, because this is a photopolymer stamp set, we need a foam piece, a foam pad, because our, once again, photopolymer doesn't have that foam pad that the red rubber cling does, so we need this little foam pad for a little cushion to get a good image. Okay, and I will say that I'm not great at lining things up, especially with the camera where my head goes. Another thing I want to point out to you is this clear block case. I fought against this for so long. Like, I don't need that. I have duplicates of blocks because I hold classes and I need more than one of each size. And so I fought against buying one of these cases. Don't ask me why. Now I picked one out because I have this as a giveaway prize for one of my bingos, my upcoming bingos. And I thought, well, I got to try it myself. I can't use it. I can't give it away without trying it myself, right? So I bought one for myself. And I'm telling you what, I'm kicking myself now that I didn't have this a long time ago. This holds one of each size of all your blocks. They fit securely in this foam piece. And you can pull them out easily. But you have them all together. So it's one of these carry-out things where you grab it and you take it, and you have all of them. You're not going over to your stash and finding, okay, which ones do I think I'm going to need, and putting those in a separate tin. No, it's an all-in-one case, and now I absolutely love it. So if you have a lot of these blocks, if you have even half of them, you really need this case. It keeps them organized. It has this little tiny, well, little narrow, thin mat that goes in between the blocks, so when you close it up, they're not clanking against each other. So it's a wonderful tool. So it's a must-have. So I wanted to show you that. I am going to be using, of course, I always go to a block that is bigger than my stamp itself. So let's take one of these. The first one we're going to do is, the first one we're going to stamp is this one. And I want to be able to see around the edges. So I'm either going to use this one, where I can see around the edges, but I can't see along here. So I may even go to our biggest block, which I believe is, it's F. I may even go to that. No, I'm going to wing it. I'm going to wing it with letter E, clear black E. Okay, so put this back in my little sheet, and I'll put this out of the way where I won't spill my coffee. Got all my supplies right around here. Hi, Diane. Thanks for joining. Hi, Luann. Glad you're here with me today. Okay, so I'm going to line this stamp up on my block, and I've got my foam mount. Next, I'm going to take a couple colors. Because this is a two-step, we want two different colors that will coordinate with each other. So I chose Bumblebee and Cinnamon Cider. These are two new in colors that were just introduced in the new catalog that came out in June. I'm going to start with Bumblebee as the main block. And I'm going to get my card. So I already have a folded hamburger fold card that is 5.5 by 8.5, and it's just folded in half. I'm also going to get my bone folder out and give it a crisp fold so it doesn't flap open like that. Doesn't hurt to do that a couple times. And then that just lays it down and it's crisper. It's much nicer. All right, so we've got this. I'm not stamping off, so I don't need scrap paper underneath this. But keep that in mind. I think the best way to ink up this stamp is to, got a little fuzz on there, is to take the stamp directly to the pad. And again, it's juicy, so be careful. You might get ink along the sides here if you press down too hard, and then you're going to get ink on your block. So always make sure if you have one of these newer ink pads that you just tap it lightly, and you'll be able to see how well it's inked up. Okay, you want to make sure you check that. All right, and now you have your foam mount, and I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to stamp this a little off the center, going up on my tippy toes here. Okay, and I'm going to stamp down. And I'm going to hold it. My name is Keri, my name is Keri, my name is Keri. Now, photopolymers are sticky, so you want to hold your cardstock when you lift it up. Okay, so that's a pretty good impression. I like it. Now, it's definitely darker than what the lid looks like for the color, but if you give it a little bit, it's gonna dry up a little bit lighter. So no worries there. Okay, so now I'm going to do the second stamp, which I'm going to line up just with eyesight. I'm going to use this bigger one so that I can see better. I go grab the one that coordinates, and you'll see that the way they're laid out here on this vinyl piece, they go together this way. So this one would overlap on this one as it's shown here. I hope that makes sense. So just be mindful. You'll be able to see when you ink up your stamp how it's going to work. Okay, probably the best way to do this so it doesn't wiggle around is to just turn your stamp over and let it, especially if it's a one that's long words, just let it lay flat, and then just take your block and go over the top of it, and voila. Okay, so next I'm going to show you, I'm going to be lining this up. And it looks like it's gonna, I've got it the right way, definitely, because you can see all the little holes. It's kind of a stencil. So I know that I've got it on the right way. So I'm gonna flip it over this way. And we're gonna add the cinnamon cider to it. I tried this by eye and, well, did line up. Good. All right, so again, I've taken my ink pad to my stamp this time. Ooh, I did it the opposite this time. And it looks like it's really inked up well. I can see ink everywhere. So I'm going to set that aside and turn it over. And here's where the eyeballing comes in. If I bump the camera with my head, I'm sorry. Just trying to line it up. Okay, you want to have a good handle on your block so that when you're ready to go down, you don't just drop it. And I think this is, there we go. Okay, now I think we're good to go. All right, so go straight down, and once again, you want to press it a little bit. Don't want to rock and roll, because if you have any edges, you have any ink on your block, you'll get that right on your project. Okay, my name is Keri, my name is Keri, my name is Keri. Can't really grab the cardstock. And voila, pretty good, fairly close. So there I have my image that I freehand. Okay, let's clean these off, and I'm going to show you how to do it on the Stamparatus. And my cleaner, my Simply Chamois. Okay, and I no longer need these blocks. But keeping them right here for handiness. I figure it's important for you to see me cleaning too, because that's what you need to do so you don't get ink all over you. I should have put those back in the case, but I didn't. So now we're going to make this totally same card, but we're going to use the Stamparatus. Okay, so set this aside. I'll leave this right here for you to look at. There's our Stamparatus. I have two. I'm going to use both plates. So it's easier to see through when I line it up. And I'm going to take my next card, and I'm going to put this down, and because I cleaned the stamp off, I'm going to put my card down. I did make a little line, so I'm going to take my card and put the edge of my card where it opens up right on this template line that I did on my scrap sheet of paper. And I also have, I should show you all the layers here, because this is a photopolymer, you need the foam mat, and I just got this Imperial foam mat, which I absolutely love. And I'm going to turn it over so we're using the matte side, because we're going to use a piece of grid paper. Actually, we don't have to do that, do we? Let's try it this way. For this one, we don't have to. Don't mind me. Okay, so I will line up this card along one of the bold lines, because you see the grids here. I'm going to line it up along the 1 inch, and I'm going to put my magnet right here, and I have to cough, excuse me. I've had a frog in my throat. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this, because I've cleaned it. Make sure it's all clean. Just stamped off it is. I'm going to lay this down exactly where I want it on my card. See that? It's all clean, so it's not inked up, right? So I think that's pretty well level. It's even on both ends. Next, I'm going to take my clear plate, secure it in the hinges, and then go straight down. And I'm going to lift up this. So now I have my image on the plate, right? Okay. Now when you have this plate open and you're going to ink up your stamp, you want some sort of foam piece underneath. Now this works well for me. This is from another, this is from a tin kit that I received. But I want you to know that our stamp cases also work perfect underneath too, because you don't want to bend and break this plate by not putting something underneath that's level with the rest of the Stamparatus tool here. All right. So I'm going to use my Simply Chamois in its case, and we're going to make sure this is secure. Now I'm going to take my ink pad and go right over the top of this and ink it up. And it looks pretty well inked. I've got my magnet to keep this down. And fold it over. My name is Keri. My name is Keri. My name is Keri. Now, if you don't get a complete image, the beauty of the Stamparatus is you can ink it up and do it again, because it's going to go exactly over what you've just stamped. Now, once again, photopolymer kind of likes to stick to your cardstock. Now I see there's a little bit down here that I didn't really get well. So let's see, I'm going to show you. We're just going to go over it again. I'm going to be brave. And I'm going to ink that up again, very lightly. And I'm going to try to go over that once more. So this may be a little darker than the first card for sure. Okay. And now I'm going to come down here and make sure that I'm going for that one section that I didn't get before. Again, this is the beauty of the Stamparatus. And now I have a super clean image. A little bit darker than what I wanted, but that's okay. And then I can just close up my ink pad. Take my Simply Chamois and clean it off while it's right here on the plate, because I'll leave it on the plate, because we're going to use a different plate. Okay, I'm going to take this one off. I'm going to line this back up. Take this off and set it aside. And then I'm going to grab another clear plate that comes with the Stamparatus. Okay, and hinge it just like I did. And I believe this goes like so. And like I did with the first stamp, I'm going to line this up exactly over the top of this stamp, so that when I go to ink it up and press down, it's going to go right over where I want it to go. Okay, now I've got it where I want it. I've got it lined up. I've got the magnet down there. I'm going to take my clear plate down and capture that stamp. And then lift it back up. You'll see that moved a little bit, but that's okay because we've got it down. We know exactly where it should go here because the edges are lined up with that 1-inch grid. And then we're going to take our cinnamon cider. Y'all with me now, or are you sleeping? I hope you're still with me. Alright, so I'm inking it up with the cinnamon cider. And it looks like I've done a pretty good job of inking it up, but if I haven't, I can redo it again. And I've got it lined up here, so there we go. Alright, and I'm just going to press my fingers along the edges. My name is Keri, my name is Keri, my name is Keri. Make sure that everything's stamped, lift up, and voila! It's almost perfect. Almost perfect. Very cool. So the Stamparatus is a great way to line up your images, and mass produced too. And I'm going to show you about that in the next card that we're going to do. All right, so here we have our cards. I also want to show you something very cool. I'm going to take our grid, this grid paper, and don't mind all the scribbles all over it. And I'm going to make sure this is all lined up. I want to put a greeting on both of these cards. So I'm going to show you two different ways after I clean, whoa, shame on me. After I clean up my stamp. Because I learned a new trick, and I haven't showed you guys yet, how to line up things with your Stamparatus, line up words, and cut them out. So you see we have these beautiful dies that coordinate with the stamp set, and I want to use this die, and I've cut out a couple to show you. I'm going to do one freehand, and then I'm going to show you how to use the Stamparatus to do it perfectly. Okay? So the one freehand, I'm just going to put it down, and I'm going to grab a block. What standard size do I always use for everything? That's right, D block. So I'm going to use the D block, and I'm going to grab one of the things in this stamp set. How about just wanted to say hello? Now you're not limited to this stamp set. You can use other greetings on other stamp sets. They will coordinate. So I'm going to pop this down on a clear block, and I'm going to use my cinnamon cider because it's darker. And because it's photopolymer, I can pretty much see exactly where I'm going to place this. But I really should have, let's do this. I really would like, there we go. I really would like a darker background with this white so it doesn't get washed out. And I'm kind of guessing with my eyesight. I'm actually going to use early espresso for these words. And I'm going to ink it up. And stay with me because this is really a cool trick. You might know, and I haven't tried it yet, and I have ink all over the edges and all over my block. So now I've just inked it up, and what I'm going to do, that scares me. I'm going to take out my chamois and clean that up. There we go. Give it a little huff. Because it's photopolymer, you can see right over your stamp, your image, your cardstock to place it. So I've just eyeballed it, and voila, there we go. So now all we need to do is take this, grab a couple dimensionals, going to grab 3. Now, I can't really tell which one was the eyeball and which one was the Stamparatus, can we? Oh, this one's a Stamparatus because it's a little bit darker, and this one was my eyeball. So I'm going to put my eyeball greeting with my eyeball stamp set, and I'm just going to, sorry, bumping the cable. I'm just going to pop it on. And voila, we have a card. Okay, so you're worried about getting it just right, aren't you? You're worried about getting it centered. And if you have a red cling, this is even more important. So let's do with a red cling. Let me grab a cling mount stamp set. Cling stamp set. And I'm going to use the stamp set, Here's a Card, because it has lots and lots of greetings. And I'm pretty sure this birthday, happy birthday, is going to fit right inside of this beautiful cutout piece, which I have already cut out in Whisper White cardstock, if I can find it. So, where is it? All right, bear with me. So I'm going to put this definitely you need a scrap sheet of paper, and what I would do is take one of these heavy duty magnets just to hold that down in place. You've cupped it in the corner. You definitely need a magnet. Okay, so this one's done. We're not using the cinnamon cider. Cleaning off my stamp and putting it away. I like to keep things, there we go. All right, so here's my stamp, or excuse me, here's my cutout, and I saved the frame. You're probably gonna know why. I'm gonna pull out the happy birthday, and you'll see it fits right there. I'm gonna lay it right there. Now I've got this cupped up to, well, let's move it up a little bit so I have wiggle room. Okay, so I'm going to put my stamp right like so. I'm going to take my plate. So what I've done is I've taken the frame that I've already cut out for this piece, okay, and I've kind of put this piece down, and I'll put the magnet on it, and I've laid my stamp, my red cling stamp, which I don't need the foam piece underneath, right, because it's got the foam pad already. So let's just take that out. All right, I've got my stamp pretty well centered, I think. I'm going to, boom, stick that down. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp this, and this is going to be my template. Watch this. So I'm going to go down, and okay, so I don't want to move my stamp. It is a little crooked, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my stencil, my cutout piece from the piece that I want stamped, and I'm going to center that so that when I ink it up and stamp it, it's going to be perfect. And I think this is perfect. So I'm putting my magnet back on to hold this cardstock in place. And I'm going to take my piece and fit it right back into its cutout. I'm going to ink up my stamp, my greeting again. And then I'm going to, bam, press down. And voila! Perfecto! So if you have red cling stamps, this is a great way to be sure that you have stamped it perfectly inside. So cut out your piece first, save your template from where you cut it out, and do that trick that I just did. Now, I learned that from Michelle, one of my team members. She tried to explain it to me, and I'm a visual person. So when I was down in Tennessee, I said, hey, about you trying to explain that to me. I think she showed me, but I forgot. So she showed me again, and it's magic. It's magic, people. All right, so now we'll just clean this off, and we'll move on to one more card that we're going to make. Let's put all this away. This is a great greeting set called Here's a Card, and there are tons and tons of greetings on here that just fit every occasion that you could think of. This is definitely a must-have stamp set in your collection. All right, we are working with photopolymer. So I'm going to, these magnets are super, super, super strong. it right here to keep everything in place, but I'm going to set this aside and we're going to finish this card. Oh, look what I did. Shame on me. All right, get some dimensionals. I love these. They're you get 720 in a package of the mini dimensionals, and you get 300 in a package of the regular size dimensionals. These, I go through a lot of these because they just work so well. So there's our other card. Happy birthday. So now we've got 2 cards going. I'm going to show you a couple different ones. Here's the one that I showed you at the beginning. I'm blessed to have you in my life, with a great color combination. This color combination is Highland Heather and Gorgeous Grape. And this is another saying, just wanted to say hello. Did I say that one and that one? Yep. So there's some really simple cards that you can do with your Stamparatus or freehand, whatever you feel comfortable with. Okay. So the next card we're going to do is we're going to make multiple images using the 2-step stamp. So I've got my Stamparatus back out again. And I've cut a piece. We're going to use some really cool bohemian colors. I was inspired by a bohemian website. So I'm using some funky colors today. I'm going to use Pretty Peacock, Poppy Parade, and then I'm also going to use Coastal Cabana and Crushed Curry. So you're going to see, this is my card base. It is Crumb Cake, but I'm going to be stamping my image, my two-step stamped image, onto my white cardstock. So I cut this 4 by 5 3/4, and you'll see why I cut it longer than 5 1/4 when I lay this down and stamp our images. So here I've taken my 4 by 5 3/4 and I have made a little template on this grid so that if it slides, I still know where my cardstock is supposed to be. And I'm going to move my magnet over the top. And once again, we're going to start with the bigger, fuller background of the 2-step. And I'm going to just lay this sideways here, right at the bottom, because we're going to stamp this multiple times going up. Okay, so I'm going to do this for the first image. And I pulled it away from the edge because this hinged edge, you might not get a good coverage with your ink if you butt it right up to this edge. But this edge you do, because this slides right down against the other edge, if that makes sense. So I've laid this down on my cardstock how I think it should go. I've lined it up, and I'm going to take my plate and just go down over the top of it so that it picks up my stamp. And then I have to make sure that this is, I'm going to use both magnets. I'm going to put my cardstock back in place. Like I said, that photopolymer likes to stick to your ink. So I'm going to put one magnet here. And I'm going to take the other one, which is on the back side, and I put some washi tape on them so that you can lift them up. Do not let them touch each other. Holy cow. Don't let them touch each other because they'll crack. They're so strong. All right, so I'm going to use Pretty Peacock. And I've got this all lined up, ready to go. I'm going to ink up. Oh, missing something, you say? Yes. Putting my case underneath here. You can see okay. If you can't see okay, let me know. And now I'm inking up, taking my pad right to the photopolymer stamp, and I'm inking it up in Pretty Peacock. It looks like a really good coverage. This is one of my favorite colors. And I'm going to come down. Oh, maybe I didn't get a good coverage, but that's okay. I'm gonna let it go. Okay, rubbing it all along, and then I'm gonna lift up. Yeah, didn't get a great coverage, but that's all right. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it as is. I'm not gonna go back over it, but you could if you wanted to. You could go back over it. Okay, make sure it's lined up again. Now you're gonna lift up the plate, and you're gonna go up 2 hinges, because you can put it back down in a different spot. And we're gonna ink up our image. And just do the same thing again. Go back over. And just kind of run your thumb along the image. And look at that. Oh my gosh. Now I'm going to move the magnet down because I want to go up there and do stamping up there. So I pull this up and put it up 2 hinges. And you know the drill. I'm just going to ink up my stamp. And then come right down. And like when you're heat embossing something and you see it melt and just yeah, go glossy, with these photopolymer stamps you can kind of see when you're pressing down that the ink, you'll see a shift in the color where the ink is going full on your cardstock. Okay, so there we have a really pretty background. And I can take this off and show you. Look how pretty that is. Now we're going to be cutting down one end of this so that it's even on both sides, because I'm a matchy girl. But I'm going to put this back down because we're going to do the 2-step. Okay, so I'm going to take my magnets and put them back in place to hold my cardstock down. Make sure everything's hunky-dory. I'm going to clean off this stamp. Now, if I wanted to keep going and just keep making a multitude of these, I would not take this stamp off of this clear plate, which I won't do. I'll lift up, set it aside, and I'm going to bring in the other clear plate. Because you get 2 of these, and you get 4 sides too to work with. Close up my Pretty Peacocks. Now we're gonna be using Poppy Parade. This is gonna be so pretty. All right, let me make sure. Now, once again, I'm taking my stamp and going over the top of this to line it up. There's no ink on it. I'm doing it face down so it lines up perfect. And then I'm gonna take this making sure this doesn't move. Okay, I'm going to take this. I think it looks good, so I'm going to take this plate down and capture the photopolymer stamp on the plate and lift up. And you've got your magnets to put this back into place. Hopefully that's going to be perfect. Are you guys still with me? Say hello if you're still with me. Now I'm inking this outline this two-step stamp with Poppy Parade. And I'm going to go back down. Right over the top. And press down with my thumb, especially at the edge here. And you're going to get the red image right inside of the Poppy Parade. Look how pretty that is. Oh my gosh. And so you know the routine. Now I'm going to lift this up and go 2 hinges up and do the same thing 2 more times. I have a dry throat, so I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. All right, I've inked that up really well. I'm going to go down. I hear some thunder rumbling outside there. I know my yard could really use a good watering. Now that I'm up higher, I can hold this cardstock and bring it up. Oh, I see that I really didn't get a good image there on that one, and there's still some ink left. So let me go back over that. I don't know if you had time to see that. Hopefully you're still watching with me. There we go, much better. Okay, now I'm going to move my magnet down because it's right in my way. I'm going to move this up 2 notches. And do it one more time. I'm just moving all over the place with everything. Okay. All right, that looks pretty good. Voila. We are done with the 2-step stamping. Isn't that pretty? Kind of reminds me of a bandana from camp. Somewhat patriotic too. Pretty Peacock and Poppy Parade. All right. As I like to do, I'm going to clean off this stamp. But I'm going to leave it on because I'm going to make some more of these cards. Okay, but I'm just going to set this aside for now. So, bring this back down, close it up. We're done with the Stamparatus. Pretty cool, huh? Now, you definitely, when you're making your multiple images, you want to use the Stamparatus. So, it's just quick. You do it once on your plate, you know, get the stamp lined up on your plate, and then ink it, move it, ink it, stamp it, move it, ink it, stamp it, move it. And you've got this pretty pattern for your background. All right, like I said, this is definitely, this background is longer than what I want. So the reason that I did that was because I want this edge to be even with this edge. So I'm going to take my paper trimmer, which I didn't put right here, so I gotta grab it. And I'm going to take my paper trimmer. The card base itself is 5.5 by 4.25. So I want this mat piece to be 4 by 5.25, which is a 1/4 inch shorter all around. And easy peasy. I'm going to go up here to the top. Hopefully you can see okay. And I'm going to cut off a portion of this. So I want it to be 5.25. So I've lined it up here with 5.25. This is our scoring tool. This is our cutting blade. Now remember, don't push when you're cutting. Just pull. just pull it. Do not push, because you will dull your blade very quickly. And you don't want to do that. You want as much longevity out of your blades as possible. Okay. So now we have 5 1/4 by 4. And this piece will fit perfectly on our card front. Doesn't it? All right, so I'm going to take my, let's see, do I want ribbon? No, I'm not going to put ribbon on this. So I'm going to take my Stampin' Seal. Look at how smooth this just goes, smooth as butter. And I wanted to show you a little trick. Debbie, if you're watching, this is a great trick. So, and you probably saw it. This silicone craft mat that needs to be in your toolkit, right? Sometimes when you're working with this, the adhesive doesn't go all the way to the edge, so you start pulling and it doesn't capture, like what's happening right here. If you take this craft mat and just go like that, now it works. Whoa! You guys are learning all kinds of tips. If you're sticking with me this whole thing, I've taught you a couple really cool tips today. You will be an amazing crafter if you're not already, which most of you are anyway. Okay, I'm going to take this and put it down. Going to line it up. Come on, line it up. All right, there we have it. So now we've got this on Crumb Cake. And again, it still reminds me of a bandana at horse camp. Pretty cute. And the other pieces that I chose, which I've already cut out, are crushed curry. Where are my dies? Yep. Got too much stuff out here. All right, I chose crushed curry for this die. See how pretty that is? And then I chose Coastal Cabana for this die. And then I'm choosing a greeting with this long banner punch. Isn't it cute with all the holes? So these are my pieces. And I'm going to layer these. But one thing I'm going to do is, this fits perfect underneath with just a little bit of room around each edge when you line it up. But I don't really like these on here. And I haven't popped them out because I don't need them. So I'm going to take my paper snips and I'm going to cut these little edges out. You could use this as a standalone piece on a project. You could stamp your image here. Excuse me. You could stamp your image here and just put that on. It would be really pretty. And leave these little tabs on, but I'm going to take them off because they're too busy for me. There's too much going on. Plus, I saw 2 other demonstrators do this. Well, one other demonstrator. Let me see. Actually, I did watch another demonstrator in her video, but I also, yeah. So I'll show you. Guys, a lot of times I just look at this catalog and pick out a card that I really think is pretty and I copy it. And so that's basically what I'm doing here. So I am copying this card on page 38 where you'll find the stamp set and the dies. And here, we just did this card. And now we're doing this card. And these images, these little fancy tabs that were along the side of that die are just cut out. But you can leave it on because look how pretty, well, wait, go back here. Look how pretty it is in this card, leaving it on. But I just decided to cut them off. So I wanted to show you that. Going right out of the catalog, basically, and just coming up with my own colors. So I'm going to put this over the top of this. And as I mentioned, if you line it up so there's a little space between all four sides, top and the bottom, you'll be good. But I'm going to pop it up with some mini dimensionals. Oh, and I got to get out a new sheet because I only have 2 left. Thanks for sticking with me, guys. So the advantage of watching Inkin a Latte live is it stays here on Inkin a Latte, and you can come back to it if you want to. If you are looking on my public page to watch it, Inkin a Latte with Keri Blake, you might not get all the episodes because looking for an assistant to hold me accountable. Sometimes I just get sidetracked with my real estate business and go figure. And sometimes things fall through the cracks. So, all right. Now, I just put the little mini dimensionals in spaces where I knew there was room for them and they wouldn't show through. And now I'm going to eyeball this. Okay, that's pretty good. Sometimes I amaze myself. All right, so now I've got this really darling little piece, and I can put that right on here. And it's busy with colors, but I love all these colors together. Like I said, this Bohemian website that I've been watching for some really cool products. Of course, it appears up on my... All right. It appears on my news feed, and of course I get suckered in. All right, see how I did that? No interruption, really. And then I'm going to, let's see. I guess I'll center this in the blocks because you know I'm matchy-matchy. All right, just gonna press down. And wow, very cool, huh? I love this. All right, next I'm going to take, I'm sure you have colors that you would enjoy putting together with this stamp set. All right, now I'm going to take the greeting, and I've already punched out the die cut in Whisper White. You could do it in any color. I'm going to go back up to my clear block set, and I'm going to lay that down, put my block over the top of it so that way I don't make it curvy when I put it on the block myself. Manipulate it, and I think I'm going to use, let's see, what color should I use? Pretty Peacock or Poppy Parade for the words? What's your thoughts? Who's still here? And it's going to give me their thoughts on which color I should use for the words. So I'm going to ink up the words. Thanks for being there when I needed you most. And it's going to go right over the top of this. So what color should I use? Pretty Peacock or Poppy Parade? Poppy Parade, you say? Okay. I'm going to use Poppy Parade. All right, now it's a photopolymer stamp, so I've got my foam pad underneath. Oh, Pretty Peacock, huh? We're torn. I got a text with Poppy Parade and a post with Pretty Peacock. All right, let's go Pretty Peacock. All right. Now, super juicy, right? Super juicy stamp ink pad. I'm going to tap it lightly over the top. Looks really good. Just to be on the safe side. Now you could line this up on your Stamparatus like I just showed you before, but I'm going to wing it. I'm going to come down Because it's photopolymer, you can see right where you're going. My name is Keri, my name is Keri, my name is Keri. Voila! Groovy. Love it when a plan comes together. Alright, close this back up so we don't get too inky. Next, I'm just going to take some, I guess I could have put some twine underneath it, or we could have put some white crinkled ribbon underneath it. Food for thought next time. But I'm going to take my adhesive and just roll some in the middle, just a little bit in the middle, because I want to have it more of a popped up feel, since these are already popped up. And put it right in the middle. Oh, hello. Guess you have to press down, huh? There we go. Here's a very busy bohemian bandana card. Using today's tiles and field tile dies. Holy cow. Got a messy station here now. But that's okay. It's fun to clean up too. Alright. That's this card. And I want to show you the other card that I made where I didn't even use the background. I just used the die cuts and one of the stamps. So here we have another pretty colors. This is Mango Melody, Mary Merlot, and the background is Calypso Coral. And see how I cut those out? And this is super simple. These are just cutouts and one stamp. Same stamp. And then I wrapped ribbon around it. It's a hamburger fold. And I popped it up. Isn't that pretty? There's our two casual avid stamp cards. And here is the ones we made today and a couple other samples. Very simple. This one was eyeballed. This one was using the Stamparatus. I hope you like them. I enjoyed putting this together for you. I enjoyed making the samples and getting it ready for you. What was this stamp set with all the different sentiments you mentioned earlier? Yes, that's called Here's a Card. And that is a must-have stamp set in your pile because it has all kinds of greetings. It has 14 different greetings that you can use for multiple occasions. Here's a card. And that's a cling stamp. All right. Well, today's been a long one. I thank you very much for sticking with me this whole time. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned some good techniques and a couple tips. I certainly love coming to you live and sharing these with you. I want to tell you about a couple promotions that are going on right now that you need to know about. One is the bonus days. Stampin' Up! Is rewarding you with, when you spend $50, you get a $5 coupon. So spend $50 now. For every $50 increment you spend now through August 3rd, you'll receive a $5 coupon in the mail, in an email. It'll be a code in an email that you can use to purchase Stampin' Up! Products between August 4th and August 31st. So spend $50, earn $5. Excuse me. There are no limits to how many $5 coupons you can get. And The beauty of that is, one thing you need to know for sure with the $5 coupons is when you get an email that says, hey, you spent, say, $250. You have $5 coupons in this email. What I want you to do is don't lose that email, because when August 4th comes and you can utilize it, you have to go back to that email and copy and paste those codes into your order so that you receive your $5 off. So be sure to either set up a separate folder that you put your coupons into, labeled bonus days, so that you can go back to them in August, or flag them so that you don't lose them. Also, this month for July, when you spend $50, you automatically get my Talented Team tutorial, which is loaded with 15 different projects and their directions. And it's made by some really talented demonstrators, and I'm so honored to be a part of this group that shares all these tutorials with one another. So spend $50 with me, and you've just, as a thank you, I'm sending you the PDF of this Talented Team tutorial for you to enjoy. With a $100 order, I'm going to send you an embellishment. It could be a package, it could be a roll of ribbon, it could be a package of embellishments. I'm just going to send you a nice little package. And with a $150 order or more, you'll not only get free benefits, Stampin' Rewards with Stampin' Up! That you can use on free product, you'll also get a handmade gift from me as well. So to order these products and more, please go to my website, keriout.stampinup.net. And for orders under $150, please use this host code, GSB7NECW. If you have an order of over $150 or more, first off, let's talk, because maybe you should be ordering the starter kit so that you can get all these great products at a discount. Plus, our team is fantastic. I mean, we are a bunch of really fun ladies. We enjoy each other's company. We share. We learn together. It's just a great group, and I'm so blessed to have these friends in my life. So talk to me about that. Otherwise, if you have an order of over $150 or more, do not use this host code, because you'll earn your own Stampin' Rewards with your order. I am having a lot of events later on this month, one of which next week. I believe I'm going to start on Thursday. So Thursday and Friday, I'm having a BOGO sale. So if you're not on my email list, be sure to contact me. Send me an email at keriout, KERIOUT, at yahoo.com, so that you can be on this, so that you can have detailed information about my BOGO, which is buy one, get one free. I'm selling almost all of my retired stamp sets and embellishments and dies, and for every dollar that you spend on my retired products, you'll get that same amount in new product before shipping and tax. So it's a buy one, get one free. Great value for you, and it's great for me for a couple reasons. One, I want to downsize, because I have so much, and I have so much retired stuff that I really need. You would really help me by coming and purchasing my retired stuff, so that I can have a better space to craft in, and you get the benefit of the fact that you're getting 2 for 1. And 2, I'm working hard to get to Maui. So if you, for every sale that you, every merchandise order that you have with me, that just helps me get closer, and it tells me that you appreciate what I'm showing you and you want me to continue. So I would love to be your demonstrator. Yeah, I'm gonna cry. Okay, I am so thankful for every one of you. I appreciate you joining me. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I always say this: if you need help with an order, please let me know. I'm happy to help you. Or if you have questions, if you have suggestions on what you'd like me to show at the next Listen at Lunch episode, I'm happy to do that. I will post these photos. Someone hold me accountable. I will post these photos on my page, on my group, Inkin Latte, so that you can make your renditions and share too, because I will draw from those people that share. I will draw, share their creations. I will draw a winner and send you some Happy Mail. But you're all winners to me. Thanks for participating. Thanks for being here. All right. Stay well and be blessed.